I'd like to call to order a meeting of the Fall River Public Safety Committee dated March 30th, 2021. Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Counsel Kadim?
Here.
Counsel Liberty Laveau?
Here.
Chair Peckham?
Here. Pursuant to the open meeting law, any person may make an audio or video recording of this meeting public or may transmit the meeting through any medium. Attendees are therefore advised that such recordings or transmissions are being made whether it's received or unperceived by those present and are deemed acknowledged and permissible. First item on the agenda, citizens' input. Madam Clerk, any written communication for citizens'
I have no
input?
written communication, no.
Has anybody signed up to speak for citizens' input?
Not that I've seen.
Okay. Thank you. Second item on the agenda is the minutes from October 13th, 2020.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Motion to approve is made. Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Third item on the agenda is a resolution to discuss concerns regarding traffic noise and air pollution in the area of Northeast Alternatives, 999 William S. Cannon Boulevard. I know we have several people in the audience that also attended the last meeting, and there's been some work by some city officials to try to come up with a remedy for that. Is my mic on?
It was, seems like it's getting cut out.
I know some city officials have been by and trying to come up with an idea and an understanding as to what's going on, and it's been quite a while now. With that being said, if I may, I would like to call on Chief Cardoza, who has an issue with that, and get his report on the situation. How are you, Chief?
Good evening, councilors.
You want to have him come down to the table?
It's up to you, whatever you're more comfortable.
I don't mind.
Chief. How we doing?
Very well. I'm assuming he wants me to brief you on, what transpired up there as far as our perspective. We received some information that some of the people customers may have been leaving Northeast Alternatives and walking into a different area, if you will, and smoking marijuana. As a result of that, on 3 separate occasions, I put vice detectives up there, asked them to document everything we see and to take action. I can tell you that Detective Gary Barboza spoke with some of the residents in the area that remain unidentified. They talked about the medical window being open. When that window's open, people are not at the window. An odor comes out of the window. There's also a double door in the back that they talked to the detective about, that when employees smoke cigarettes at the back of the door, there's an odor that comes out of those 2 double doors. So he documented that. In addition to that, on one occasion, they observed several customers walk over into Rhode Island and to a parked vehicle and smoking some what appeared to be rolled marijuana. So they contacted the Tiverton police and made them aware of that situation. But the other 2 occasions, they documented that traffic didn't seem to be too bad. They didn't see anybody using any drugs or anything like that. So we have that. I also supplied you, Counselor, with a copy of the police report from that incident involving a minor stabbing of one customer versus another customer. Other than that, I can tell you that we haven't had any complaints. I haven't got any phone calls, which I found rather unusual about traffic. I thought I would. The last detail that we had there, I believe, was January 6th of this year, and I haven't got any calls about having more details there. In addition to that, the only other department at this point that's interested in taking those details was the Westport Police Department. So they're on our detail list. If we can't fill it for some reason, they're anxious to fill it.
All right, and again, you did supply the police reports, and actually the call log, and the call log started actually right after our last meeting, and other than that, the stabbing, it's
Yeah, there's been some routine checks there, which, we encourage the officers to do, to go by any type of pharmacy or or store or establishment like that, we ask all officers to go by and document that they stopped. So what you have there is the last 25 calls.
All right, and I actually noticed that they were doing, I forget the code, I apologize, but your pharmacy checks.
Pharmacy checks, yes.
So they've been doing that as well at that facility, so that's actually really good to see. It's proactive, I feel, anyway, that they show up randomly and just do a check like they would a pharmacy or any
Yes.
other store within the city.
One more thing I want to mention, since the last meeting that we had, we did put up a poll camera, one of our cameras, in case I got any complaints, or you, the council, got any complaints about tractor trailers or those types of deliveries. So we had that up for quite some time. No complaints came in. We just recently took that camera down. However, it does save footage for approximately 30 days, so it could be something that we could go back and look at if we needed to.
Okay. And I know we had spoken right after, because I went to that location, and I sent you some video of the different license plates, out-of-state license plates, utilizing the store and not Northeast Alternatives parking lot. And also, there was one of the videos had a gentleman in his car smoking marijuana parked right on the side of me. So I really do appreciate you sending the vice detectives down there, and the reports that were submitted. It helps us see, because we can't be there all the time, you know?
Based on those reports, it looks like some folks are parking on Aquidneck, I believe it's Aquidneck Avenue in Tiverton,
Okay.
and walking over from there, then walking back, and that's where some of the use took place.
Okay. And like you said, Tiverton PD was notified, so,
The Tiverton detectives were called.
okay. So a multi-jurisdictional there isn't a bad idea either, if they're catching it from both sides, you know?
Yep.
I appreciate that. Does anybody have any questions for the chief? Council Vice President?
Hi, Chief. I
Hi,
was going to
Counselor.
ask you about the details. You haven't had a detail there since January 6th?
I believe that was the last one. It could be January 2nd or January 6th. I have it in my folder.
But they were fairly often before, correct?
Yes, what would happen is if my office got a call, or one of the command staff got a call about complaints of traffic, we would normally, myself or someone that works for me, would pick up the phone and call Mr. Gosselin or one of the staff members and say, look, we're getting some complaints. We want you to have some details there. They would then contact the detail person, and she would hire some details. And I know there were some times that they proactively did that on their own as well. We haven't gotten any calls. I'm not suggesting that that's because there isn't a traffic problem. I'm just saying we haven't gotten any calls for me to initiate calling them to say, I want to put some details down there.
Okay. I know they would do that around the holidays, too, if they thought they were going to be busy. They would initiate it themselves. And the amount of calls that you have, is this less than what you would normally get on the call log, do you think?
The 25 calls, you mean? 25 calls for service?
Yes.
I would have to look at it again, Counsel. I looked at the last meeting we had, I looked at the calls there. It seems to me like my recollection is there were more calls than usual on the last log than this log. Quite frankly, I'm hoping that some of the other places that opened are drawing some of, I'm not the owner of the establishment, so obviously I don't have anything to lose, but I'm hoping that some of the other places have drawn away some of the customer base, and it's lessening the traffic and the complaints.
Thank you, I yield.
Is there anything further, Chief? Thank you, Chief. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Hawkins, if you don't mind, I have a couple of questions.
Hi.
You can also come down, or you can stay there. It's up to you completely. Okay, that's fine. Now, the chief, like he had just stated, had sent some vice detectives, and the complaints are still the smell. And they did learn, obviously, as you just heard, that one of them is maybe a medical window, and then the double doors that are maybe being propped open so the employees can smoke out back.
That would be unusual. We would never have the doors left open, and if that window's open, it means there's a customer there. Our SOP is for that window not to be open
Okay.
unless there's a customer there. So it would be unusual, and I would find it unlikely that would be the case.
Okay.
You might not, maybe from wherever the perspective of someone's looking, you wouldn't see the employee, but there would be an employee there.
Okay. I went by there. The majority of the issues I saw the night I was there, and I had sent the video actually originally to the chief was the congregating in the parking lot across the street from your facility. It wasn't your facility, it was the property to the south of yours, on the same side. They were utilizing that property, a lot of non-mass plates, and they were going from that parking
You're
lot.
saying the gas station? The
yes,
gas
sir.
station.
Yes, sir.
That's a busy gas station.
Yeah, so I sat there for about an hour one night, and I was watching them park in the gas station parking lot, run over to your business, buy, and then go back. I have one picture, I believe it is, there had to be, what would you say, Chief, 8 or 9, maybe 10 people standing on the sidewalk. After the purchase, they would I have pictures of them standing on the sidewalk. I can say the couple of times I did visit after that they weren't doing that. So I don't know if the gas station owner, I'm not sure who that gentleman is, had spoken to them about utilizing his property, because the 2 times after that I went, also like the detectives have reported, I know I didn't see it in the parking lot, which is a good thing, and I have noticed that traffic, I don't know if it's because of South Coast Marketplace, they've kind of switched up their ingress and egress. I think that may have alleviated some of the traffic concerns there, and I'm appreciative of that, because it was
Yeah.
a nightmare last summer. And when issues like this arise, such as the complaints for the medical window being open or the double doors, maybe you said you have a standing operating procedure on.
We do, and we have security that does rounds, regularly. So the idea that, of course, employees come in and out, even though our SOP is to not smoke back there, we have, through camera work, had to do some corrective work in our own operations to reiterate our policies. So I'm not going to say that it never would happen.
Yeah.
But certainly a door left open like that is very unlikely.
Okay. The only thing I would recommend is just, and I know you do have an SOP in place, and it's fantastic, is I would just say that maybe be a little more cognizant of maybe people are chalking the door open.
Yes.
That's all I can request of you. It's
And we've gotten some feedback from our neighbors about a couple of nights, employees out in the back, banging on some plastic containers and stuff. And so we've redirected again. Every time that we get feedback from our neighbors, we take immediate action on those things, and we try, but, there's misses here and there.
okay. Yeah, and that's to be expected, so.
Yeah.
Any questions for Mr. Hopkins? And with that, I appreciate your time. I do thank you very
Thank you,
much.
sir.
Yeah, you can come up to the microphone. And I apologize, your name and address for the record, ma'am.
Gina Hutchins, 84 Commonwealth Ave.
Okay, thank you.
I just wanted to mention that the smell that's coming from the building is not from a window being propped open. It's from the exhaust from the building. So I just wanted to clarify that.
Okay. And I have a police report that it specifically addresses the smell itself, and the complaints, I read through it because I just got this, so I was reading through it very quickly. It states that some of the citizens in your neighborhood are complaining that the window and the door were the reason for the smell, so,
Yeah, that I don't believe that that's the case.
okay, all right.
It's coming from the exhaust, not, to have that strong of an odor just from a window being open, I don't.
Okay.
And like Mr. Hawkins said, they don't leave the window open, so to have that smell continuous, couldn't be from a window.
Okay, I appreciate it, thank you. Mr. Hathaway, you got a second?
Good evening.
Good evening, thank you. I figured you'd be the person to go to. I don't know much about the exhaust fans. I know that we've spoken about it in the past. In your opinion, the setup that they have for the exhaust system there would be sufficient enough with the operation that they have going on there?
So far, in the past, we have talked about odor, very minor odors, but annoying to the neighbors. And Chris has increased or had planned to increase the filters, change the type of filter. If I'm not mistaken, you extended one of the ducts?
We've done all of those things, replaced all of the filters.
So, in the back of the building where the double doors that the neighbors are concerned about and everything, there's a new filtration system in that area that he had added to increase or decrease the amount of fumes in the system, another filtration system. So he has done considerable. Is it enough? It's hard to say. We're not living there, we're not putting up with this, but I've been by there, I've noticed some minor odors, but they're minor to me, but I don't live there. I'm not there enough to, I do know that he has complied with everything I've asked him to do. Okay?
No, that was a question I had. I appreciate it. Any questions from Mr. Hathaway?
When was that done?
A couple of months, there was two systems. You completed the last one on the roof, and then the one before was done right around the last meeting,
So the one on the roof was done when?
between the last meeting and now.
Okay, thank you.
And there's one on the ground that I gave him, I requested a permit for. It's on the back side of the building.
Okay, thank you.
Anything further from Mr. Hathaway? Thank you very much for your time, Mr. Hathaway.
You're welcome.
Mrs. Ferrara? How are you? A minute of your time, if you don't mind? I would like to just cover, and I made the request for the individuals that are here because I found that you had pertinent information to pass along. I know we had discussion recently, and it was regarding the traffic up there. And I know you said that you had gone to that location as well to observe the traffic for a certain period of time. What was your takeaway from that?
In the last couple of weeks, I have seen a decrease on traffic, especially on Sunday. Again, like the chief said, I don't know if it's because of other facilities opening up and people are venturing to those, but the traffic has not been as backed up as it was before. I mean, we put up the signs. I haven't gotten any calls regarding the tractor trailers going down that road. So I don't know if they're still continuing doing that or not, but it has been very quiet. I mean, we haven't gotten any calls.
Okay.
So that's the only difference that I've seen is the traffic.
All right. Yeah, I was notified tonight, and just within the past half hour, I had a video sent to me of, I believe it was air gas, one of the air gas trucks, I think it was 7:05 a.m. And the video was about, 40 minutes long. They were parked out in front of the residential properties. Behind the building? Okay. The city ordinance on noise complaint, to my understanding, I think the chief could correct me if I'm wrong, is any time your piece is being disturbed, I don't think there's a specific time.
There is.
Is it 7 a.m.?
11 a.m. to 7 a.m.
Okay. But after that, it also states, am I wrong, that it's kind of a vague,
My recollection, Counselor, is that anything before 7 a.m. is an issue, correct?
Correct.
okay, okay.
I think it's not ambiguous to me. I mean, anything before 7 a.m. is a problem.
Okay, I appreciate that, thank you. And I do have a video, so maybe if we can be a little more, just entertain that maybe,
Okay.
the times that the trucks are showing up there, and we could remedy that issue. I think with this, there's multiple pieces to this, so each one has to be remedied separately, one being traffic, one being the odor, one being permits for the building, whatever the case may be. And that's why I appreciate you coming down, because you would handle the traffic
problem.
side of it, so.
No problem.
I appreciate it. Is there any questions for Mrs. Ferrara? Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Mr. Hawkins, would you like to talk about the truck? Yeah. And I'm sorry, just me and name and address. I
Chris
apologize.
Harkins, 999 William Canning Boulevard, Fall River. Yeah, so we've continually worked with both, and the city did send out from the last meeting that we had notices to Waste Management. I'm not sure they went to Praxair, but we're very disappointed in that. We've asked them not for any reason, particularly on a weekend, because 7 o'clock's too early, certainly on a weekend from our perspective. And we've asked them never to come. We've asked them for very specific times, and we continue to get misses with those guys. And so we sent a very stern email to them as soon as I got notice from Jared on Saturday of that happening.
Okay, yeah, because
So-
it is from Saturday.
Yeah, no, we knew about it as soon as the neighbors informed us, and then we took direct action. And unfortunately, it's not us, it's not our company, and we've given them specific direction on when they can and cannot go to service us. And the last time warned them that we would have to go to a different company. And so we let them know that, we're going to exercise that option and to explain first before we do that. So we haven't heard from their senior leadership yet, but if we need to, we'll fire them and go to a company that will honor what we've asked.
Okay.
To Praxair too? Yeah. So,
Again, like I said, this is an issue that's been going on for quite a while now, and I believe that each topic should be handled individually. And that piece being, it looks like you're already on top of it to try to have the company come a little later. I know 7:05 on a Saturday is
it's not acceptable.
really early.
Yeah.
Is there any other questions, Mr. Hawkins? No, thank you so much for your time, sir.
Thanks.
I'm sorry, Chief?
Council, what I'll do is I'll put a directive out to the Secnicon that's assigned to that area. If there are any violations of the ordinance, they'll take action.
I appreciate that. Thank you. With this being said, and the fact that we have had vice detectives there, we do have the truck complaints that are being addressed by the company. And I would like to motion to leave this on the table in case things come up in the future. We don't have to draw a new resolution. I would think it would be easier to leave the item on the table and then reopen. Motion to table is been made by Councilor Kadeem, seconded by Councilor Vice President Liberty LeBeau. All in favor? Aye. Ayes have it. Madam Clerk, we're gonna leave that on the table, and if anything pops up, we can readdress it in the future. Is there any further? Is there a motion to close?
Motion adjourned.
Motion adjourned been made, seconded by Council Vice President LeBeau. Yeah, thank you very much.